Here's how you get your questions in for OJ Hollingsworth. Live phone calls on the air, 613-789-6559, extension 2803. Ottawa.morning at ctv.ca or on Facebook as well. CTV Ottawa Morning Live, easy to find. You know, it's road trip season, and we're sure to have the oil checks and the car tune-up all done, right? We're all set to hit the road. But one thing we may not be thinking about is, what if there is an accident? Here with a reminder of what we need to know. Personal injury lawyers Brenda Hollingsworth and Richard Auger. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Okay, so I want to start with the typical mistakes that we make. So I think about an accident. The first thing that happens is it's something that you didn't expect to have happen, so the adrenaline rush hits you.
Yes.
What are some of the cascading effects of that?
Yeah, so people tell me all the time about the adrenaline that they've experienced, and there's lots of things that flow from that.
Right.
Number one is you may not be thinking the way you would on a normal day, so you may make bad decisions.
Right.
And one bad decision you might make is not to exchange information with the person who had the accident with you. You think, oh, well, it's not that bad. I'm not bleeding anywhere. I'm just going to go on my way. So that is a mistake that happens surprisingly often.
Right, because sometimes you have a little bump and a fender bender hit from behind, and nothing is visible on your car. First of all, you should always get a check, because things can happen when you don't see it. I know that fact, right? Yeah. But you need to be checked.
Oh, yeah. So not going to the doctor right away is a big thing. You think, oh, well, I'm sore, but that's natural. I'll be fine. And, you know, you should go to the doctor at least within a day or two. I mean, don't go to the ER if you don't need to go to the ER.
Right.
But have a doctor's appointment for sure.
Okay. So because we know that low-speed collisions can cause actual spinal injuries. Is that's fair to say?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
no. I mean, the way our cars are designed today, they're designed to last. So just because the back end of your car isn't smushed doesn't mean there wasn't a big impact.
Right.
You know, our cars can withstand quite a bit now. And if you have something like a trailer hitch, that absorbs a lot of the impact.
Okay.
So your vehicle may actually look fine, but you have still had sort of a serious acceleration, deceleration, whiplash type movement.
Okay. If only there was something, you know, some sort of literature out there.
If only there was something.
You guys actually provide all of this. Is this all free?
All of it, yes.
All of it. Okay, so look at this stuff. I want to talk about the crash kit first and foremost. Take a look at that. What's great about this, and this is an amazing thing we're going to get into after the break, is how this is really set up for when something happens. All of the biggest tips are on the front. I'm sure that's not by accident. If you have a question about what to do after a collision, phone in with your questions, 613-789-6559, extension 2803. Brenda Hollingsworth, Richard Auger, Hollingsworth in to answer your questions. Personal injury lawyers, things that you don't plan on having happen, things you didn't want to have happen, that life just throws your way. More on that in just a moment. We'll break down all of this literature that you can get your hands on. Ask the expert. There's how you get a hold of us, 613-789-6559. Extension 2803, or email ottawa.morning at ctv.ca. All right, before the break, we showed you this crash kit, and Richard, you're going to hold this up. Richard Auger is with me, and as well as Brenda Hollingsworth from OJ Hollingsworth.
So we designed this to provide people in the public that, you know, want to have something in their glove box handy, because what we said earlier is people panic in an accident.
That's right.
You know, for example, you know, in a bike accident, we've had clients that'll just be embarrassed about what happened and want to get out of there as fast as possible.
Embarrassment's your biggest enemy. We've talked about this, you and I, about personal injury and embarrassment really hindering you.
Well, that's right. So we thought we would design this to offer free to people so that they could, you know, take it out of their glove box or their knapsack if they're cycling to, you know, again, step one is stay calm.
Right.
To try to help them focus.
I'm just going to hold that so we can hold that for the camera and you can go through that. So stay calm. All right.
Right. So stay calm in the event of an accident. Take this out of the glove box. You know, take your breath and compose yourself.
I like step number 2. Don't apologize.
Don't apologize. Don't take responsibility. That might be for someone else to decide.
And you don't know.
You certainly don't know.
We're not experts in crashes, and if we are, then there's a problem in our lives.
Exactly.
Right. Okay. How about number 3?
And so then you want to move to number 3. Always call the police no matter what. You know, another driver may say, oh, it's no big deal. Let's just get out of here. Stay and call the police and let the police dispatcher decide whether or not you should remain.
And if everything else fails, you can call you guys and
call
get advice
us at
from
any
there,
time,
right? Okay.
24 hours. There's a live person that can speak to you, and we'd
Yeah.
be happy to help. And there's other steps throughout the kit.
Yeah, and inside there's a big tip here too, Richard, that you need to tell us, because look at all this. What do I need my car to help me out with all of these blank spaces?
Well, that's right. So, you know, there might be a case someday that you want to pursue, and you need to preserve the evidence.
Right.
That's sort of one of the key themes throughout, is preserve the witnesses and the information and the pictures and the accident details. And again, this just helps you focus on what you need, because things happen so fast.
But all of this is moot, Brenda, if you don't
have a pen.
That's right.
Always have a pen in the car.
Always have a pen in the car. Put it in the glove box and put the pen in there as well.
Yeah,
right?
so order this from us online.
How do I do that? How do I do that?
So you can call us. Just say
Right.
you want the crash kit. The receptionist knows what you're talking about, so order it. You can order it on our website. There's a big, you'll see the big crash thing there. There's a form.
On the right side.
Yeah, and we'll mail it to you today or tomorrow. Last time we promoted this, there were 100 people asked for it, so that was great. So we have lots of them, and it's totally free.
And honestly, whether or not you pursue something beyond that, you can see there it is right there on our screen.
Oh,
see,
yeah, that's great.
Right there on the right, okay? And you can order it right there. Whether or not you pursue anything afterwards, having all of that is protecting you. I think it's a great idea.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I want to get into something else that you published, actually. This is pretty great. It's called Crash Course, A Savvy Woman's Guide to Ontario Car Accident Claims, by none other than Brenda Hollingsworth.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me why you wanted to do something a little bit specific toward women.
Well, we found that women and men approach accidents quite differently. Men arrive in our office and they've already decided they want to sue, and this is what they want to do, and this is their problem. Whereas women are very, well, I don't know if I should, and they're very hesitant. Often, not everybody obviously, but reluctant, apologetic, and sometimes intimidated. So this book is designed for women. I mean, men can obviously benefit from it too.
Of course.
But, I tried to be funny, and so there's sort of women-ish jokes in there that...
But there are specific things as well, like a caregiver benefits and things that you need to know from the insurance industry, and you've really tailored it as well.
Yeah, no. So that's also available free on the website. Just order it. And we'll send it out to you.
Okay.
We have a couple of other books too. The Injured Victim's Guide to Fair Compensation. We've had this one for a while, but it is updated.
Okay.
And this is sort of the book for everyone who's had any accident, whether it's a car accident or a slip and fall, sort of walks you through what to expect.
Well, we'll get into that a little bit more right after the break. As we continue, Ask the Expert. You can send those questions in, 613-789-6559. Extension 2803, ottawa.morning@ctv.ca, or Facebook CTV Ottawa Morning Live. Back with more in a moment. We're with Auger Hollingsworth in Ask the Expert this morning. We've been talking about what to do if you have an accident or personal injury problem. Contact them. This is how you do that. info@ottawalawfirm.ca or phone 613-233-4LAW. On the web, askbrenda.ca. And there's their address as well. All right, well, before we break, we got into this. Brenda and Richard, we showed this just briefly, the Injured Victim's Guide to Fair Compensation. This is an updated edition.
Right.
What's in this little fun book?
A lot of the sort of more detailed information from the crash kit, like, specifically what medical attention you should get, when you should get it, how to choose a lawyer if you decide that you need one, how to know if you need a lawyer, what you can expect through the accident benefit program, the no-fault benefits that we talk about fairly often.
Exactly.
So our thinking is if you actually have the information before you deal with the insurance company, you're going to be in a much better position.
I don't know how, in some cases, a person who actually explores their option gets vilified. Where does that come from? I mean, there's nothing wrong with taking a look at what's going on and taking care of yourself, right?
Yeah, well, I think it's a reaction to what we see in the States.
Yeah.
There's a perception that, litigation in the States, people are greedy and it's too much.
Right.
And so there's a very strong reaction against that in Canada.
Okay.
But the truth is the numbers we're talking about in Canada are much more modest. They're controlled. Nobody's getting, $15 million for a broken fingernail.
Right. That's not going to happen. We have certain caps and things that protect everybody in this. But you have to take your situation seriously.
Yes.
I think that's fair to say.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about your website. I love these 3 buttons that are at the top right, and they really make things very easy. We're going to talk about the literature you have, but this is very easy to do. Tell me about these 3.
Yeah, so we have the 3 main practice areas identified there. I had a motor vehicle accident. If you click on that, it sort of takes you step by step through what you need to know. And there's links behind there for if it's a bike accident, if it's a motorcycle accident, pedestrian accident, just sort of tells you what you need to know. Same thing for slip and falls, and the important thing to remember there that sometimes there's a really short time limit.
Okay.
So you need to be on that.
Okay, and then I've been denied, this is interesting, I've been denied disability benefits. We've heard this before a lot from people.
Oh yeah, so that's very common, increasingly common actually. People are getting denied disability. People in Ottawa, many people have long-term disability through work, especially if you're a public servant, which is great, unless they won't pay it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll help you then too.
Richard, a lot of times the other side counts on ignorance, don't they?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And really the goal of us providing material to the public is just to have information so that people keep an open mind, so that they have knowledge.
Right.
For example, insurance companies will use certain terminology that people aren't familiar with. In this publication, we have a glossary of various terms.
Right.
Get to know your legal lingo, for example.
This just helps you in everyday life.
It's really just about education.
Okay.
There's no obligation. People can call our office or go to our website and just get the information. They don't have to come in for a meeting or sign up or even have a consultation with us. It's just to get people thinking about their situation and their options.
And I think it's important to remember that that you guys, beyond obviously serving your clients, do this because this is the only way, really, a lot of times you can affect any change.
Well, that's right. I mean, the insurance lobby is huge. They do all kinds of marketing that make people afraid to make claims.
Even stuff that we're not cognizant of, right?
Right.
Exactly.
I mean, the whole thing that people worry, oh, am I going to be thought to be a fraud? That's because we've been conditioned to think that people who make claims are frauds, which the vast majority of times obviously is not true. So get educated. This is all free. We do not harass you. If you order this, you will not get a phone call from us.
Right.
But just have it on your shelf, and if you need it, it's there, and if you don't, perfect.
Why not? Why not have that right on the shelf, and even better, right in the glove compartment? Love the crash kit.
Yeah.
Look for that.
With a pen.
With a pen.
With a pen. That's such an important thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you.